Hi guys, and welcome back. I'm Skeleton Bell, and today we're going to be discussing haunted house websites and how much you're willing to pay for a haunted house experience, mostly excluding all the other fancy stuff like VIP or front of the line passes or extras like merchandise. We're primarily going to be covering general admission topics, and the first haunted house I was going to discuss would be one I've been to. Actually, many of these I've been to. Rotten Manor in Holly, Michigan. They opened, I believe, in 2015, so they haven't been around that long, but they did build from the ground up. I'm gonna actually switch over so we can go to their website. They haven't, like I said, they haven't been around super long, but they did build from the ground up, which is very impressive. And the first year that I went, I believe it was 2017, fantastic, right? And because the Renaissance Fair is maybe not even a mile down the road or so, during September they can get some flow from the Ren Fair, and then October they're kind of left to their own devices, right? So one of the things I wanted to talk about is you can have a really good haunted house and have a very bad website, unfortunately. This kind of goes with what I do believe is haunted houses do need to have good websites to help attract people. I think that makes an impression that you care. And if the website's easy to go through, I think the haunt itself, when you get up there, should be relatively straightforward. Not necessarily the haunted house itself, admission, like where you buy tickets, where you get merch and that stuff. I think that should be relatively easy to navigate. So this is Rotten Manor, and you're going to notice that you have a pop-up, which I feel like looks like spam, kind of like an error you would get on a computer. And I think that part looks really bad for the haunt. I think there's a different way they could put this. I this just means I feel like they need someone else to do the web design or maybe do it better. I don't want to be too harsh as I don't do web design myself, and as far as graphic design goes, I don't have like a ton of experience. I'm fairly new with it. But this is their website. I have been in the haunt industry for a while, so I have experience there, and I've been here twice. Um, and here's Rotten Manor's website up here. I think social media is great. Fairly straightforward stuff. This part looks good, right? This part you get to see that's actually what it looks like, by the way. Yeah, a little bit more enhanced in the picture, but like you get the idea. This thing was built from the ground up. This is the Rotten Manor. They do have four other attractions. They have Rotten Forest, House of Wax, Rotten Hayride, and then as additions, Rotten Theater is separate, and so is the Midway. It's just where you get like food and drinks, merchandise, and yeah. So that part looks fine. I do feel like the little red's a little off-putting. It's just the rest of it, like this is fine. It's not great. Um, but like it works for the haunted house. I do feel like there are, and I'll show you an example of an incredibly good haunted house. It also has an incredibly good website. I just do feel like this could use some work, and not necessarily in the first part. The pop-up is a little bit of a problem for me, and I've talked to friends where it's also a little bit of a problem for them as well. And the other thing is I've seen how they handle some of their social media accounts, like Facebook, primarily, and people are flabbergasted about the issue I'm about to show you now. I did find out they at least offer discounts for children 12 and under. I didn't see if they offered I didn't see anywhere under the frequently asked questions about them offering any sort of discounts to military or emergency services like officers. Um, but I know not all haunts do. However, I'm not sure if they did this to me. I did make a recommendation on their Facebook to add merchandise pricing and be a little more straightforward with their prices. But when I asked them to do that, and like 2 days later I saw this on their website, I didn't mean for them to do it this way. This part's fine. This isn't my internet, by the way. This is just how slow it loads. And it also just looks terrible, and you can't zoom in on it. You can't click on this. You would have to screenshot it and then zoom in on that screenshot to actually be able to see what any of this says. I have glasses on, so like I can read it, but it's still very small. And I don't know if this is problematic for other people. I guess for someone who's been doing haunted houses for a long time, I view this as problematic. I'm glad they have their merch price listed. I feel like they could have added it somewhere up here and then had it in like a huge like area instead of making it this tiny thing that you can't even click on. It's like this was made in Canva, but they didn't like they took maybe 60 seconds to make it. I'm experienced with Canva. Or maybe they use something on Google to do it. Either way, it's simple, and that's not really a problem. You can have things that are simple. It's just this is very tiny. You can't zoom in, and that's a problem. And I do feel like, and I'll read this off in a second, I feel like they're going to price themselves out of the industry. And what I mean by that is they're charging $95 per person, cash only. They do not accept credit or debit on site because their Wi-Fi is poor, which is unfortunate. They cannot do tickets online. They don't do that. And I feel like that's going to affect their sales when they can't do either or, because there are some haunted houses going cashless or at least do online sales. And here they're expecting you just to have cash. They do have an ATM on site. However, service fees are going to suck when you're already spending $95 per person to go into the haunt. And that's just for the basic general admission. That is not including any merchandise or the theater or anything in the midway that you may want to get. VIP passes, forget it. Forget all of that. That's $95 for the 4 basic attractions. And I know that they're like, you can do one attraction for 30, but who wants to go there and do one attraction for 30? And I know people I saw on their Facebook were really flabbergasted by the prices, except for the one person who's like, you can't go to dinner and movie for $95. It'd be way more than that. I want to know what state they live in that $95 would not get them into a movie theater for one person and dinner. I can go to Red Robin, get a gluten-free dinner, and get a movie ticket for less than $40 per person. I got food yesterday with my friends and also went to the movies to see the old Exorcist movie, and we did that for less than, it was $30 total for the movie tickets for the 3 of us. And then another $25 for food, so $55 for all 3 of us to have dinner in a movie. And this is $95 a head, assuming you don't want anything else or VIP. And yeah, sure, this is peak season, that's why they're charging more. They were only charging $75 for all 4 attractions in September. That's a $20 increase. $20 increase. That is enormous. And I know you can do um in October for Thursdays and Sundays, it is cheaper. It's $20 for each attraction, so it'd be 80 instead of 95, $80. But I talked to about my friend, and my friend went with me last year, one of them did, and she said, and this makes me feel bad because the first year I went in 2017, I believe it was 2017, it might have been 2018, it was phenomenal, right? I had a phenomenal experience. It was still pretty expensive. It was around $60, but I was willing to pay that, and I'd be willing to pay that now. But she said it wasn't worth the price last year because there were a lot of problems, and there were. We did go on opening night, and I met the owner and I met the manager. To be fair, I didn't know it was the owner and manager at first until I got talking to them. We met the manager on the hayride because I had mentioned, hey, these things aren't going off, because I have a very good eye for things. And I he introduced himself. And I felt kind of bad and shitty, and I was like, well, I expect on opening nights there to be a few disasters. That is always going to happen. If you go on opening night, expect there to be something to go wrong. However, there should only be so much that goes wrong. You can't have a total and complete disaster of one haunt or several disasters amongst all of them. You don't want that. The biggest disasters were in the hayride, at least. The asylum, so there were actors when I went in like 2017 or 2018 that were phenomenal, and they weren't there last year. And they seem to be lacking in general in like the amount of actors they had and the actors that were more experienced. They didn't, not that all of it was bad. Set design there is phenomenal. I will tell you straight up, one of the best set designs I've ever seen, both outside and inside. They have it down. They really do. The fact that they built it, the owner built it. It was an empty field before he took it over. He did an amazing job. Set design is amazing. I'd heavily recommend going for that reason alone. However, I get why people won't spend 90 I won't spend $95 to go. Not to do a review. No, it's already a horrendous drive for me. I can't do the gas and time and then spend $95, and I'm the person who will buy merch. I have a t-shirt, I have a hat from them. I'm that person who's going to buy merch. I'm going to spend more money than just the tickets, but at $95 a person, I'm not doing that. And no one I know can afford to do that right now, or doesn't they don't want to, because there's a lot of competition in the Detroit area and in Michigan. Michigan has a huge amount of haunted houses despite losing some through COVID, and they have a lot of competition, and there's several haunted houses I can go to that I can fit two or three in for a total of $95. So for $95 I can go to two or three other haunted houses total, like, or I can go to one. And that's going to be where some of the problem is. And Larry Kirshner, if you guys know, again, he is one of the biggest names in the industry. From Forbes, I'm gonna quote him from Forbes magazine because I've really went down my rabbit hole over the years. Because I'm so passionate about it. I love it. But and I love this haunted house. I want to see them be more and more successful every year. I just think they're pricing themselves out of the industry. I'm so worried it's gonna happen. Especially since they can't do things like ticket sales online, like, and cards there without the ATM, like, and then their huge prices. I'm so worried they're going to price themselves right out of the industry. Because there are other things they can add. And one of the things Kirshner says is one of the biggest trends is that you hit a certain point, you hit a wall. You cannot charge more for a haunted house experience, but you can add a virtual reality experience, a zombie paintball experience, or an escape room and upcharge that. These are the kind of things that haunted house industry has been moving towards. And in that regards, I just showed you what I was reading. In that regards, Rotten Manor is kind of going the opposite. They're going south. They need to be going north, upwards. They cannot be charging this much. You could go to Cedar Point for less than $95 for Hollow Weekends, where you can go to haunted houses and ride rides, assuming you like rides in haunted houses. Yeah, you're gonna deal with the crowds. You could say that, right? Well, you're gonna deal with the crowds of Rotten Manor. People are waiting an average up to 2+ hours for one of the haunts, and you have four. So, you want to take that into consideration too. I always like to arrive before about 45 minutes before a place opens, because I want to like to get pictures in, and two, I want to make sure we don't have to be the people waiting 2 hours in line. I would rather wait 45 minutes before they open and be one of the first people to go and experience it, because I feel like it's just a better experience overall then, and the actors aren't tired. I have been an actor at a haunted house, actually at this one, for it was really only a night. I helped in a bunch of other aspects for a while, but I only acted for a night. But I had so much fun, and I've went through there several times. But like I had a lot of fun acting that night, and I scared so many people because I just kind of took a bunch of like Warhammer quotes because they say some scary shit. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just do this and I'm gonna bring my own like scary costume and then mix it with their makeup artist stuff. It came out really good. And I mean, obviously, graphic design and web design is not their forte. However, if they get someone who can manage that a little bit better and they can do something about the prices because they were justifying it online, saying you can just do one attraction or two attractions or come on a Thursday or Sunday, well, even that's still expensive. And your families aren't going to go out there. I think they're really pricing themselves out of families coming out. You got three, four people who want to come out. They can't afford that. But if you lower the prices, they're going to be more apt to spend that money elsewhere, as in on their merch or their food or anywhere else that's in the midway. And at that point, they might actually be spending more instead of just, not spending anything at all. Um, I feel like you're missing out on a bunch of people who could have actually went, and you would make up that cost with the amount of people you're getting in, as opposed of just driving people away with the sheer cost of this attraction. That is my take on it. You're free to have your own opinion. Would you pay $95 for for this haunt. If you've been, let me know. This year especially, because I've heard people say that it's not as good, and I would agree with them. Last year it was not as good as it has been. But they still won an award for set design, and honestly, they deserved it. They really did. They're very good. This is the rest of. I want to just kind of show off the rest of their, like they have their dates. So if this is something you're interested in, that you can go. I know my camera's blocking some of it. I'm very sorry. Um, this is kind of their basic like contact information, basic stuff, right? I do kind of have a problem with their FAQs because it's so tiny, and I feel like they could just look at all this empty space. Like this could be utilized. You could have bigger print. You could have bigger font. Like that, and then they have their featured attractions. Now this actually looks nice. This looks nice. They need to have more like this, right? They could have this for merch. They could have t-shirts, beanies and stuff. This looks nice, and this is how they really should. Like the house, this is what they should be like having their website design more. That looks good. And then, you can go and look at it. Now let me show you another attraction, one of their competitions who is regularly like really good. What I don't see on here is videos, which most haunted houses have videos. I'm not seeing it on here, but if we go to Erebus, this is Erebus's website. This looks good. Right away, they have stuff scrolling around. Like they took the time and effort to make this look good. You can go to photos and videos, which they also have on site. After you complete the haunt, don't worry, not beforehand. You get your photo taken beforehand. It's a little bit of a strange experience if they're still doing it. They have specials and offers. Yes, you can get discounts. They offer discounts on any day of the week they're open, because they are one of the few haunts that just decide we'll just be open whenever. Like Wednesday, sure. Tuesday, maybe one of the Tuesdays out of October will be open. Their highest they get their 4 stories. It does take a while to get to. You do have to pay for parking, so yes, a downside there. But the highest their ticket gets is $35 on peak Saturday. The Saturday before Halloween, and I believe on Halloween they're $35. But again, it's Halloween. They're gonna up their prices. Halloween, that's when everyone's gonna up their prices, right? You're gonna have to expect that on like Saturdays. Like Saturdays are their busiest day, right next to Fridays and Halloween. So you can see that they have a YouTube video, right? And you can watch these all online. I can show them off. They're fairly short.
You're done. I told you there's no such thing as time travel. I'm cutting your funding.
Doors being slammed in my face never bothered me. It's the ones I've opened that keep me awake at night.
I love his voice.
Because I've succeeded. My time travel lab, disguised as a haunted house.
Yes,
I need more
that's
test subjects to finalize my work. Bring in the crowds. The portals are open. The subjects are being treated like a virus and being destroyed. I need more subjects. More.
That's something I don't remember.
It's about time. Travel. Buy tickets at hauntedpontiac.com.
It's amazing. Unfortunately, it's in Pontiac, and Pontiac sucks. If you're from Pontiac, you know what I mean. I've been there twice, mind you. It's not been that much of a deterrent. They have paid parking. You buy your tickets online. I highly recommend it. Don't wait in line to buy them. Get them online beforehand. They can get very busy very quickly. They are worth it. It's more like a big House of Illusions. They will target all of your feelings and all of your senses, and it's kind of amazing. Yes, you'll probably get touched by an animatronic and balls. I do mean little ball pit balls. That's really gross, but like you can't opt out of that portion. They don't force you to go through it, but it will make you experience extreme claustrophobia. Potentially, it depends how much you're afraid of that. This is one of the ones I want to go to again for a third time. I hope their merch design has been pretty cool. I didn't like that they kind of merged it with the 1 year with the 4th of July stuff, because that was weird. It's like I don't I don't want I don't want 4th of July stuff involved in Halloween. Keep it away. But that's just my opinion and whatever. Like it's fine. They can do that. It was also a free t-shirt, so I still took it. I'm like, "Oh, good. I can sleep in this." But this is gonna be stuff like haunts they're gonna compete with, and this is also one that's won awards and is very well established and very good. It's seen on Travel Channel, Bio, Discovery, and they deserve to be on there. Now watch out for that stuff because you might see haunts that claim to have been on there and they were on there 25 years ago for Travel Channel or whatever is known for 25. Because I've seen one in Cleveland that does that. It's called World of Horrors, I believe, but it was also called Seven Floors of Hell. It was in Cleveland area. They were atrocious. One of the worst haunted houses I've ever been to. Straight up, like I've I was very disappointed, but like I took two. If there was a group of four of us, we were all like really mad we spent money on that because they weren't cheap. And you would think 10 haunted houses would be, oh, at least, okay quality, but it wasn't. It was like they put no effort in. If they had been their first year, I would have been more understanding because they were still getting their stuff together, but it wasn't. They'd been around for a long time. They had won awards before. It's like they gave up, guys. Don't go to Seven Floors of Hell or World of Nightmares. I don't know what they're calling themselves anymore. It's one or the other, but don't I mean, I'm willing to go back if they've improved it. I really am. I would love to see if what they've changed. Because I know like some of the actors there were good at their job but the majority of them were not because they were trying, but because they were not trying. They were texting. Um I don't want to sound old or anything, but when you're trying to scare people and you're not even in makeup or costume and you're sitting there texting and it's very obvious you're supposed to be a scare actor, it's like this is not showing the effort that I want to see. So as you can see, some of their cheapest days are 20 on Thursday. And then towards the last week of Halloween, they start going up. 35 is their most expensive day, by the way. $35 is their most expensive day. This is not $95 for haunt. This is not for haunts. This is for floors, which is about you're going to spend a little more time going through Rotten Manor without the not considering the lines, mind you. I didn't because I did go through it last year, but they didn't have the House of Wax last year, so I don't know how long that takes to go through. But the other ones, I mean, they're fun, but they don't take like forever to go through. And I'm not like a super quick walker. I try to really take in everything. I'm so it would be really worth it if they dropped their prices back down to 60. But Erebus is one of the sites that's like this is good. I don't want to like get into too much, but this is one of the good websites you could look at. Next one is Eloise Asylum. I'm sure people are aware of this. This is a very new haunted house, only been around a couple of years. Um, less than it's not even been around as long as Rotten Manor. They have some very bold words that they use here, but that's fine. The professional team behind the new multi-million-dollar attraction at Eloise has spared no expense. The scare technology within this world tour level production is astounding. Ultra immersive use of advanced projection mapping. They're swiftly positioning herself as the Disney of haunted attractions. We all know what Disney is, and Disney's also what kind of started the haunted house industry with their haunted mansion. So they have I mean, honestly, this watching some of this place, especially one of the ones we'll talk about, Nile Scream Park, is what makes my friend and I want to go so bad. If you look at tickets here for regular tickets, it's around 40. I mean, they're going to charge a service fee and parking, but they're around $45 without the parking and service fee, which you have two haunts that you're going through. So, and you're going through a place that is, if you believe in paranormal activity and paranormal occurrences, this place is super haunted. And if any place in America is going to be haunted, well, this is definitely going to be one of them because, well, Eloise is super notorious for the stuff that went on there. If you want to learn more about that, I'd highly recommend going to their website and reading some of the history on it. I don't want to give away too much on my channel. I might cover that in another video. I want to go there personally on a tour before I do a video and interview some people. But like, yeah, highly recommend. I've been wanting to go here as part of my bucket list some health issues have prevented me from going here for a few years, but I'm hoping this year on Friday the 13th is the year that I will go with my friend. And this is their trailer. I should probably explain that Erebus is a time machine, by the way. You're going through 4 floors, and each area will be different because you're going through a time machine. That's what that video was all about. And it's fun. I love Erebus. This is Eloise. Does that make you want to go? I mean, I think it's really cool, right? Okay, so that one's been covered. This is Nile Scream Park. I have never been here. They have a pretty decent like website. I think this part, it's a little, how it goes down, it's a little weird. Empty spaces bother me, but you get to see some art in the background, so it's not all bad. They state that, you know, attractions and awards, whether they won or if they were, you know, nominated potentially. What I like is if you go to you can go to prices and attractions. First, I want to cover like what they have. They have, I believe, is it 6 haunted houses? So keep in mind, Rotten Manor has 4. This has been around longer. They have the Niles Haunted House, Blackbeard's Revenge, the Ghostly Hollow, the Field of Screams, Dark Territory Haunted Hayride, Hooded, and then on top of that they have escape rooms for extra, and then they also have a midway. Okay, they have music going and radios there. They have axe throwing for people who are into that. They have paintball gallery so you can shoot at stuff. Hall of Fear, so they have their own little museum that you can go through, and it doesn't actually say whether that's, oh, it is free. It's free to all in the midway. So that's going on, and they have photo opportunities, selfie station, Scream Park Theater, which might be free, and then Witch's Brew, which I think is just a fancy thing saying that they have Jones Soda, because a lot of places say, oh yeah, shit, it does say Jones Soda. So yeah, it has Jones Soda. Which honestly, a lot of places I've come, like they'll do the weird flavors of it. A lot of places actually have that. Potions, which is a lot of it's gonna be fancy food and stuff. As you can see, it keeps going down the list of all the stuff that they have, and then they have boutiques there on top of that where you can buy gifts. There's a lot. This is like a theme park, right? How much do you think this would cost? Just go ahead in your head and guess how much this would cost. And I just think, and then when you go to buy tickets, keep in mind, right? Right? There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 haunted attractions, not including any of the extra stuff that's free and the extra stuff that's extra pay. 6 haunted attractions. You go to click here to buy. Again, there's always going to be special things on top of that. If you click, we'll say 7 because it doesn't really matter. $45 per person plus a $3 service fee. That's online, by the way. So you're gonna spend $48 ticket for 6 haunted attractions. I hope I'm a little brain dead today, so maybe it was 6, right? It wasn't 5. But either way, more than Rotten Manor, you're getting more haunted houses for less money, and then you're getting at least as much as they're providing in the form of a midway and everything that they have going on. However, I mean, you could also go for a different style of ticket that is a little bit cheaper. You could go for the $40 ticket. This does not include that very last haunted house. I believe this is only 5. It does say right here, I could just count, you know, the thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I not? I didn't count this one, did I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there are 6 for $48 because that is with the service fee, or for $43 you can do 5. Yeah, the hooded one is adults 18 and older, so that is strictly like for adults. But that otherwise you can buy on site with cash for 60. This is why I always advise buying online if it's a possibility, but yeah, a lot cheaper, right? A lot cheaper. And then we're gonna go to Fear Columbus. Fear Columbus, I have not been to. I have been into another haunted house in that area, which we'll cover. But their website looks well designed. I have heard mixed reviews from this, unfortunately, which I'm actually surprised. I've heard mixers. They had a video up the other day. Where did that go? They had a video up the other day. I'm pretty sure they did. Um, they have Krampus. I love that like they're starting. A lot of them are having like Christmas stuff, and they all have like Krampus on there because it's really fun. Um, so we have Fear Columbus. I may have typed it online to get a good thing, but we also have Dead Acres, Haunted Hoochie, and Columbus, Ohio. I have been there once. That was before I knew about. I had no idea what to expect from this place. We're not going to go into their controversy. I haven't been there since, but it's like a Rob Zombie movie on acid. That's the best way I can explain it, and I'm pretty sure that's very accurate. As having been there myself and having watched Rob Zombie movies, I've never been on acid before, but I get the basic premise from what I've seen in movies and heard. Um, I'm not going to show you videos because uh actually I can show the most basic video. I can, which I didn't see. Just this this is Haunted Hoochie. It's very interesting. One of the most interesting. They curse a lot, but yeah, they do touch you here. This is considered an extreme haunted house, not as extreme as McCamey Manor or a haunt like that. They don't like torture you or anything. They might grab your hair or your butt or your shoulder or crop your butt a little bit. That's fine. That happens. You might get stepped on it. That's not on purpose. They usually throw you in like a bunch of cattle going in, and you don't know what's going to happen. So that happens. Um I'm actually, for safety purposes, not going to click on the videos because I do know there is some stuff in there that might not be cool for YouTube. And then we had the Dent Schoolhouse. The Dent Schoolhouse is one of the best haunted houses I have ever been to, and there is good reason for that. They get people who travel, from across the country, and they are worth it. And guess what? They don't charge. I spent and I got front of the line tickets. I got front of the line tickets. I did not have to wait. I chose to wait to go through their little midway area, but to get photo ops, but I didn't have to, and it was $60 per person to go through two haunts, which the second one did suck, but the first one took a while. It was really good. But that was for front of the line. So you have your general admission, your VIP, and then front of the line. And I got front of the line. For two people, it was 60 each. Really not bad for front of the line because they usually upcharge that quite a bit. So if you go to tickets for Dent Schoolhouse, being one of the top in the country on a regular basis, Thursdays and Sundays 23, Fridays 28, Saturdays 33. If you get them at the door, they're a little more expensive, add a couple dollars on. They do charge for parking as well. However, not bad for the top haunts in the country and one of the best ones I've ever been to. I want to go to the Christmas event as long as they're still doing it. They have behind the scenes tours, they have lights on, lights off, a Christmas nightmare, they still have ghost tours. Like, they have a lot going on, a lot more having behind the scenes tours. I'm very passionate about this. If I'm talking too fast, I am sorry. I am learning. They have a spooky shop. You can buy stuff. Photo opportunities, especially after the haunt. Felt really bad when some of the people tried to scare me and run at my face. They had some of the best set design on the inside that I've ever seen. Outside, it's that schoolhouse. That's what it is. And they have the midway, which is amazing. Um, let's see if I can't. Let me go back to their. Let me go back. Let me go back. Gallery video. We're gonna go to their YouTube video. I assume it's a YouTube video. We're gonna see if it loads. I'm gonna close out a couple tabs to see if that helps. You wanna let's reload it with all of the tabs closed. I wanted to show this off to you guys. Now I feel bad. I'm trying to refresh it and it's just not working. Highly suggest you look up the Dent Schoolhouse video. You can find it online. You can go to their website and see the YouTube video there, or just go to YouTube and type it in. It's very impressive. It makes me want to go back since I've only been able to go once. It is one of the best ones you could ever go to. Like, I highly suggest it. Like, it's worth, if you have to stay in a hotel, it's worth it. I know, like, those are far more expensive than the tickets, but there are also other haunts in the area. So if you're willing to drive or Uber to those, if you have the money, then there's festivals in the area, there's other haunted houses in the area, there's museums, there's plenty to do, especially in Cincinnati. There's always the zoo. I don't know if they have anything going on for the fall. Probably not much, but like probably not much unless it's just like pumpkins for kids. But yeah, so I know this video got a little long, but that is the that is kind of what I was talking about. I was like, how much are you willing to pay for a ticket versus like how much are you willing to pay for a ticket at a haunted house, and also looking at their talking about the ones they've been to and looking at the various like websites and showing off what's a good website from what I believe to be bad design for it, like bad graphic design, bad web design. And you could see, I'm hoping at the end you could see why I thought like Rotten Manors needed some work, because a lot of the other ones I've been to, not all of them are like perfect, I'm saying, but like I would say Erebus had a very good one, and Haunted Hoochie, albeit a unique one, very unique, it was still really cool, right? You could feel that it was its own website, like the haunted house like owned it. But yeah, until next time, guys, bye. Have a good night.